I realized that the wife that Chris Okafor got wedded to of recent was the girlfriend of Bashiru Ogbano. And that is the same lady that Chris Okafor got impregnated, which means Chris was sleeping with his own pastor's wife.
My people, another day, another story, a shocking update on the Pastor Chris shenanigan, or what would I call it? Jimmy Adekanle is been on the story and had a lot to say about the whole story, how it all began and how this story long ago, and is really shocking on what's allegedly closed up the church of Chris Okafor in Canada, and how he allegedly slept, or that means Pastor Chris allegedly was sleeping with his pastor's wife or girlfriend, allegedly, that led to the deportation of Bashiru, as the pastor was called or is called. A relationship of 20 years, allegedly, and Io. Anyway, here's the update. Grab a coffee or tea, because this one is long. Listen, guys.
To all my viewers all over the world, I'm sure you can also recollect it's exactly 3 weeks when I visited Pastor Chris Okafor's church here in Toronto, Canada. And I promise you guys that I'm going to reveal what really happened. As I told you earlier, I have been investigating Chris Okafor far before the incident between him and Chris Ogala. I started investigating him almost 5 months earlier, before the incident that happened in Nigeria between him and the girlfriend, Chris Ogala. Please listen attentively and follow me. I may not end this series on this very video, because it's going to take a very long narrative. It's going to be in parts. I'll call this one part 1. Yes, this is how Chris Okafor and his cohort, Bashiru Ogbano, that is his real name before he's being christened by Chris Okafor. He now gave him a new name, David Okafor. It happened in July 2024. Chris Okafor got across to one of our church member who is now residing in Canada that he is coming to Canada for a crusade and he needed her help. And this woman contacted her husband here, that they are staying together. As a matter of fact, the husband brought the woman to Canada. The husband brought that woman to Canada, and they are blessed with 4 children. Actually, their marriage is 20 years old marriage, right? And when this man told the husband that, look, my father-in-law is coming to Canada for crusade, blah blah blah, the husband, key into it, being Christian or whatever, he key into it, to the extent that this family, they went and picked up Chris Okafor and his entourage that comprised of Bashiru Ogbano, who is now known as David Ogbano. They brought them in to Canada, cooked for them, did everything for them, I mean, a very warm reception and all the stuff. That's how how they take care of their Gio, Papa Gio around. So when Chris came here, Chris now told this family that he's planning to open a church, which I refer to as a business center, here in Toronto, Canada. He now told this family, I mean, a very perfect family of almost more than 20 years now. He told them, look, I'm here with one of my pastors. His name is David Ogbano. He's going to stay behind. Please, kindly help me to perfect everything about him to start the church here in Toronto, Canada. And they obliged. Pastor Chris finished his crusade here. He left Bashiru Ogbano behind with his family. Bashiru Ogbano started staying with his family in their house here in Toronto. A very mighty well furnished, I mean a very mighty house. That's a mighty house, a very mighty house. Ogbano was offered a room to stay in that 6-bedroom mansion. And after a while, the issue of how Bashiru will start working in Canada, because Bashiru came in with a visiting visa. The document he presented to the embassy was that he's coming for just only 2 weeks visit. I have the document with me. But when he came in here, because of their plan of opening a business center, which they refer to as church, this family helped in perfecting the documents of Bashiru Ogbano in the way of a working permit, registration of the new business center here. This was done by that family. So Bashiru Ogbano got a working permit that will allow him to work here as a preacher in Canada. So now that's the first month, second month, third month, up to about the 7th month. So the husband of that woman now was no longer comfortable with the relationship between Bashiru Ogbano and his wife. Sometimes the guy will come back home from work, he will ask where's my wife. Madam stroll with the pastor, they will stroll the neighborhood together and stuff. As a matter of fact, the guy goes out to work, but Madam is always at home because Madam is working from home. So Oga will go to work, leave Madam and Chris Ogbano at home. So they became so intimate that Oga is no longer comfortable. Oga called the wife, said, look, my dear, it's high time Pastor will go and look for another place to live. As a matter of fact, this man brought in 2 siblings of the wife into Canada with his own paper, because this man is a citizen. He brought the mother of the wife, mother-in-law too. So in the house, the house comprised of the mother-in-law, the 2 siblings of the wife, and the 4 children, including this Pastor Bashiru Ogbano. So when he told them that, he told the wife, look, let this man go and look for his own abode. He has stayed enough. 8 months here. The wife said, no, he goes nowhere. So why? He goes nowhere how? How do you mean? That issue brought a quarrel between him and his... It was dragging for